Well, you're going to notice a little bit different here. Screen's a lot wider. I broke out my new camera and I'm trying to figure out where to set it up at it. The screen size is a little different than what I'm used to, so I'm going to have to learn how to deal with this thing and look into the camera, not into the viewfinder. It's high def camera, my new little Canon M41 I got for Christmas, and then I got my little automatic remote, so I didn't have to go over and turn it on by hand and then walk around and then start. So. But that's neither here nor there. I've got the boat inside the barn again, and while I was waiting for my friend Nick, who this boat was named after, to come over, I thought, well, why waste good time and keep the dust outside? So I got my Dremel, and I was able to cut down through around the perimeter. I brought out my rafter square first so I could draw some straight lines and square angles, so this will be reasonably in a square form. And it's down, I'll set up again here, but I don't know if you can see it down in here or not. This is where the 2x2s on the front and back are, and then where one of the, I split the difference on the two little support pieces that I put in the span to support the seat. And it was really pretty good. Let me stop for a second and get a piece. This is the piece of stuff I went to get. This was the panel over on this side. I don't know if you can see it right in here or not. I used the Dremel to cut it out again, and then I had a good wood chisel, which I also used to square up the corners here so everything will fit in. What looks like from the damage on the inside of this piece here, it came down at an angle, hit the back of this, and then ricocheted off and went through the bottom. It popped the seams. Let me reset up here and we'll come back. This was the panel that set right in here. When the limb came down, it came down at an angle and hit the back here and bent this thing. It's cracked. I think I'll be able to get rid of some of the breakage along in here, some of the surface laminations of the plywood, clean that up a little bit and pour some epoxy in there, and then put a strong back on it, and then a little plate on the back here, and then be able to save it. There's no use in cutting since it's already damaged, and it'll have a few wounds, a couple more won't hurt. But where it came down into here is where the edges of the scarf seam were, and this was glassed on the outside and the inside, and it went right through this and blasted through, and here's one of the edges of the I don't know if that's the scarf or not. No, that's just where the edge of the fiberglass stopped. So I was able to rip out the foot panel here too. I was able to chisel it out, and this will be reused, but I'm going to mount it back in about another 3 inches farther back in. I found that it was too close. Up here it was, I had to set too far forward on the back seat, or in the middle seat, to row to be comfortable. So I'm going to set this back up in here, and it really doesn't hurt the storage any. You can still get your hands in easily to get small stuff in or out. So let me go ahead and I'm going to flip this over now, and we'll start working on the bottom. Well, this is the damage where it came out, so I got to figure out how much of this I'm going to cut off to match up underneath on the inside. So let me see if I can force this back down again, and then maybe drill a hole through and put a big heavy plate on the outside and pound it through. So let me do some testing here, and we'll come back. You know, it seems to be it's kind of whacked out of shape. Pieces are missing here, and it's just going to be easier to just take my knife and cut off some of the broken out stuff, and then just start over. pretty good job of sticking to the wood. Okay. Well, I got a little better idea. I can go back about a ½ an inch this way and still be under my fillet on the front of the aft seat tank face there. So looks like getting a little bit of flicker in the wind here. So let me go ahead and mark out something square and cut it out. Well, I've got a basic outline. It almost looks like a coffin. A lot of it's going to depend how much of this plywood here is right in here. It's separated. The plywood is split, and there's a little bit down here. This is still pretty solid all the way through the layers of the plywood. And I'm a little loose in here. I might be able to squirt some epoxy in there, dribble it in, and then press it down flat to hold to bring the glass back in contact with the plywood. Let me go ahead and get my saw out, and I'll open it up a little bit. That's part of one piece in there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the saw up in here or not. Well, I can. Okay. I can get the rest of this with a handsaw. Okay, all the pieces are cut out and around and inspect, see if I've gotten back far enough, and it looks like I have. I should be able to feather this one in with some, probably some easy fillet and fairing compound. So let me go ahead and clean these up with my rasp and put a little bevel on it. Okay, we're going to make a template now. It's basically just a piece of cardboard that you know is going to be wide enough with a screw. Yeah, can you see it? Yeah. You'll wonder what the screw is until you see what I'm going to do with it. I've got to trim it down. Let me come back with trim this down to where it'll fit. Okay, we got it fit to this seam here now. Okay. And just pull up tight on it. Just don't get too aggressive with the pencil where you're moving it around. Okay. And it falls all the way to the bottom. Okay, and there is my, you see it? Yeah, there you can see it. There's the patch. Maybe we'll find a piece big enough to cut it out. Well, I've got it cut out. I see I need to make it just a hair bigger down on the bottom here. But it's in place, and then that's what I will do to, I got to come in here and grind this back a little bit for a layer of glass. and I'll probably make it a little bigger, probably an inch and a half back, a perimeter, and then put it in place. It's late on Saturday. It's time to go in.